September 26, 2012. Heavily armed DEA agents explode into a hotel room in Monrovia, Liberia, interrupting a massive cocaine deal. They slam a man against the wall and zip-tie his wrists. The man in custody is Paul Le Roux. He arrived in the criminal underworld not through street violence or family ties, but through a mastery of encryption and digital architecture. 13 years earlier, he was living in Krugersdorp, South Africa, writing sophisticated code in his bedroom. By 1999, he released an open-source disk encryption protocol that was so advanced, it laid the technical groundwork for software used by millions. While open-source developers praised his technical genius, Le Roux remained broke. He watched the dot-com boom create millionaires overnight and decided to find a more profitable system to exploit. He realized he could apply the principles of software engineering, scalability, automation, and anonymity to identify and exploit vulnerabilities in the physical world. In the early 2000s, Americans were flooding search engines with queries for unregulated painkillers. Federal regulations hadn't caught up to the internet, leaving a massive gray zone wide open for anyone who could bridge the gap between customers and supply. Le Roux launched RX Limited to automate that bridge. A customer typed buy tramadol into Google and clicked a link to one of Le Roux's 200 domains and filled out a digital questionnaire for ailments. The backend ran like clockwork. A U.S. licensed physician contracted by Le Roux rubber-stamped the form without an exam, which automatically triggered a small-town pharmacy to instantly fill the prescription bottle and ship it out via FedEx. This system generated $250 million in pure annual profit. Paul Le Roux never touched a single pill himself. He simply managed the flow of the digital data that moved them. He had effectively written the code for the world's first automated drug cartel. Operating from a penthouse in Manila, Le Roux faced a new logistical hurdle, laundering $250 million in cash every year. He constructed a financial ghost architecture, utilizing shell companies across the Philippines, Hong Kong, and the Seychelles to control bank accounts in 17 different countries. With his money hidden, he expanded his supply chain. By 2009, he was sourcing 96. Le Roux viewed human informants and thieves simply as technical bugs in his massive network architecture, glitches that required immediate deletion. To maintain his physical firewall, he hired Joseph Rambo Hunter, a former U.S. Army sniper, to lead a team of Special Forces operatives. In February 2012, Catherine Lee, a finance manager in his Philippine office, confronted Le Roux after discovering discrepancies in his books. Le Roux ordered her killed for a flat fee of $35,000. 2 gunmen followed her into a parking lot in Subic Bay and shot her 4 times. For Le Roux, this wasn't an act of passion. It was a calculated business expense, cheaper than litigation and cleaner than negotiation. The system finally crashed in 2012 when the DEA flipped one of Le Roux's logistics coordinators. The coordinator lured Le Roux to Liberia with a fake $10 million deal, leading him directly into the ambush. Facing life in prison, Le Roux applied his usual pragmatism to the problem. If he cooperated, he could potentially walk free in 25 years. He flipped instantly, choosing to delete his entire network to save himself. From a federal facility in New York, Le Roux spent years issuing encrypted orders to his lieutenants, pretending he was still in charge while leading them into traps. The architect weaponized the very trust and digital network he had built, using his own infrastructure to hunt down the men who remained loyal to him. In 2013, he ordered his top enforcer, Joseph Hunter, to Liberia to kill fake informants. When Hunter and his team landed, the DEA was waiting. Over the next 4 years, Le Roux systematically lured his chemists, weapons dealers, and lieutenants into custody, dismantling his empire one controlled explosion at a time. In June 2020, Le Roux stood for sentencing at the federal courthouse in New York. Joseph Hunter and the hitmen who followed orders received life in prison. The mastermind who issued those orders received just 25 years. It is a chilling paradox of the legal system. To successfully dismantle a criminal empire of this scale, the state had to reward the architect who built it. Paul Le Roux approached global crime as a programming challenge. Once the system he built threatened his own survival, he treated his network and the people in it like lines of code that he could simply delete.